if I see you, Molly, sharing results of people that are inside your community, and more importantly, if you can even paint the full picture in a case study, then what I see in my brain is like, oh, I'm just like her. Like what was possible for her is also possible for me.
Welcome to the Masterful Coach Podcast with Molly Claire. If you're a coach who's ready to impact more lives, make more money, and create a life you love, you're in exactly the right place. Get the support you deserve as a female entrepreneur. Master your coaching skills, grow your ideal business, and honor your priorities in your personal life. Are you in? Let's get started with your host, best-selling author and master life and business coach, Molly Claire.
All right, coaches, I have Amanda Walker on the podcast today. And those of you that can see her, she's got Best Damn Coach on her microphone and on her title. And I am really excited about this conversation today. Welcome, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to pour into your audience and meet you.
This is great. So I want to know first, tell my audience, what do you do and why do you love it?
Yeah. So I work with female coaches. I help them build out their signature coaching frameworks and move from hobby coaches to profitable coaches. And I love it because there's something about watching a woman take an idea and literally bring it to life. And there is such beauty in watching a woman like make her own dollar and be able to take the transformation that typically we've felt and give it to someone else. And I think there's so much secondary impact that comes from that as well in the world. And so I'm just grateful. I love my clients. I love, like you, like getting to do this work every single day. It kind of still feels like a pinch me, like, is this real life?
I know, isn't it the best? And it's like sometimes I think, how can I not be in a good mood? Now, listen, I get in a bad mood once in a while, but not really. And it's like, how can you be anything other than kind of always feeling this sense of like joy and happiness about life when you get to be a part of meaningful work every day, right?
It's so
It's such a
true.
big
Yeah.
deal.
You wish
Yeah.
it for everyone. And I think it is possible for everyone
Yes.
if they choose the journey for sure.
Yes, yes. So, and one of the things I love this because we talked about this a little bit as well when you interviewed me, but Amanda, Amanda and I serve a very similar population, if not the exact same population, and we even do help with very similar things. And I think it's worth highlighting how important it is to collaborate with people that are in the same space as you because no one is going to be exactly like you and there really is room and space for all of us, right? It's not there's not a limited amount of people and I think our own soulmate clients as one of my coaches calls them are going to come to you, right?
Yeah. I always I mean, I'm a sport junkie. I've been an athlete my whole life. So many of my metaphors and stories around sports, but I think of it like a sport coach. You know, one coach might use specific cues and they just don't land. And then all of a sudden, this other coach steps into your life and they say it just slightly differently. And you're like, oh, yeah, like I needed to hear it in several ways for it to really sink in. And that's the beauty of the style and the voice that, we bring to each other's audiences very differently.
Yes, yes, totally. Um, so I'm really excited for you to share a little bit about capturing results. Like one of the things I'm always saying is results get referrals. And as you and I were talking before the show, you had mentioned really liking to be able to help people to capitalize on, I don't know that that's the right word, right? But really use those results as leverage to let people know that you can help them and even help your own clients to see the progress they're making.
Yeah, totally. I mean, without going yet into my story, I stepped into this space with zero business experience. And the only thing I really knew how to do was get people results. And I realized very quickly that those results were creating billboard clients. So we talk a lot about billboard clients in my world. And
Mhm.
it kind of gave me this, oh, like, if this is bringing in more and they're like amazing clients, then how do I double down on what's working to grow my business so I don't necessarily have to be an expert in marketing yet? Now I love geeking out on marketing and studying marketing, but I generated a very successful multi six figure business in the first few years because I focused on the most important thing, which was my clients and the results that they were getting.
Yes, yes, exactly. And I do think that that's worth highlighting because a lot of coaches come into the space because they love what they do, right? They want to help people. And then, it's like, oh, now I have to learn how to run a business and learn all of these different skills. And what I always say to this, and it sounds like you kind of align, but I'd love your thoughts on this. I always say, yes, there are some pieces of that you will want to learn, and maybe some of it that you'll want to learn even more and more of. And if you lead with phenomenal service and you are giving results and you are helping your clients lead with what brought you here, a business can really expand and build itself more than we realize.
Yeah. I think it's this interesting dynamic because, and one thing what we're saying is let client results be your lead. But if you don't have clients, then that can feel kind of frustrating, right? And so in
Yes.
the beginning stages, what I mean by that too is that I think so many people come out of a coaching certification and not to discredit coaching certifications, but they're like, charge high ticket, charge us money, do these things. But the reality is, just like anywhere, just like I'm teaching my son who I homeschool is, you got to build raving fans of your work. And he makes custom wooden charcuterie boards, by the way. And so he might have to gift a few of those away to build a customer base. And sure enough, he gifted one to a friend who's a realtor. And guess what? That led to business growth for him. And so I think the same is true inside of our business is that we have to be willing to maybe serve a few clients for not a dollar exchange, but maybe a raving testimonial and productive feedback to grow our network and to grow our referral base. And then that can slowly build up. I mean, transparently, you guys, my first clients, two things, they were email only and I
Mm-hmm.
charge $50 a month. $50 a
Mm-hmm.
month. I was stepping into it. I really didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I could help people. And so I was willing to do it at a no-brainer investment. So I could just have so many beta clients that became billboards for my work. Quickly, I figured out that wasn't going to last. And my investment came up quite, aggressively over time. But that was the best decision I ever made was, and I still do that when we launch programs that we're testing, I beta launch at a no brainer. And I'm like, I'm going to get 100 people through the door and I'm going to get that feedback. I'm going to build this network of powerful fans of this particular program. And it's going to go out and be, the lead of, and I don't really have to do the marketing. And so I think sometimes, this is often kind of dismissed. We're so focused on getting the first paying client that it's okay to have a few. I don't recommend lots. I don't recommend a non-paying client cycle, but there is some opportunity and beauty that comes from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when I first started, I had my clients and I would offer them a certain number of sessions for free. And one thing that I did, it's like I bartered for services a little bit. So someone what she did my pictures, and then I actually had volunteered to coach someone who I knew in my community who happened to post on Facebook needing like an accountability partner for exercise. And I said, "Hey, I saw this. Would you let me coach you?" Well, I ended up coaching him. And then he said, "Hey, let me build your website and you can coach people at my office." So it's like, I want to speak to this because I do think it's really important to have a lot of practice and to get those results. And one mistake that I see coaches make in terms of free clients to paid, they set a number and they're so eager to get to those paid clients, which is great. But I think you first need to learn the skill of when those free clients finish, are you converting them? You have to learn the skill of being able to convert them because otherwise they say, I'm only coaching this many free and then I'm stopping, but they haven't built any of that skill of actually selling. And then they shoot themselves in the foot, right? And then they're not coaching anyone. So,
Totally. Yeah. I think what I hear you saying is just setting boundaries around that, making sure that you are agreed upon on the front end of how many sessions that looks like. And at the end of that session, then there's going to be an opportunity to continue the work, which really bleeds into honestly a paid coaching problem is that often we've decided upon a container for which we're going to do the work with a client. Maybe it's 6 months for just an easy example. And we already make the assumption that the end of that 6 months, like the coaching relationship is over. So many
Mm,
coaches leave money on the table because they don't have a renewal discussion. And I believe the renewal process starts when they sign up. We're already
hmm
talking about what's next, that we're working on this particular goal set. And if it makes sense, we're going to continue to do this work. And so it feels very seamless. I find that not having the confirmation makes it a whole heck of a lot more awkward than really seeing your coaching as an open, rolling opportunity, that it's not one and done. Because sometimes we're like, okay, what's great? Thanks. I'm like, what? You didn't have the renew, like you didn't talk about renewing and continuing in some capacity. And, we have a substantial amount. I mean, we have a very high renewal rate inside the company. And partly that's because I make an assumptive, for in my world, we talk about it of assumptive renewal. Like you're just going to stay with us because I bring so much value. Why would you want to go anywhere else?
hmm Yeah, I mean, and I think that, and this really speaks to the results we're talking about as well, right? Because, and I would love to understand, what guidance or advice that you would give my audience around this. But it's like, I think it's very important as you're leading up to the point where they are renewing to always be talking with them about and showing them these are the things you've accomplished. This is where you've come. Not only because, I mean, obviously it's reminding them that this is working and helping them to make that decision to renew, but also it's very easy for us to get used to our new normal, and it's easy for our
Totally.
clients, and it's super important to help your clients to continue to recognize their progress because it helps them continue to improve.
100%. I kind of look at it as, I don't know, more or less three kind of phases to the renewal and the results conversation. One is step one, you have to build belief because, and I think this is overlooked quite often, is if you want renewals in your business, you have to be your first sale inside of your business. You have to believe in your coaching or your hybrid style group coaching program or course with such authority that you just sell it for everyone else. And I think if that's missing for you and you're listening for this, then I would explore what's holding you back. Is it mispriced? Do you not, because I'm like a framework ninja and that's my wheelhouse, do you not have a framework or methodology that you're really standing about? Whatever it is, I would really encourage you to like explore what's holding you back around that belief. And then
Mm.
step two is like leading them into a process that does guarantee results. I am such a proponent of every coach having a signature coaching framework because it's what sets you apart. You and I came through LCS. It's beautiful. We love that methodology. And I don't know what the numbers are, but thousands, hundreds of thousands of graduates have also come through. And so we have to differentiate ourselves based on what our unique process is. And then we need to create and deliver it in such a way that it really does guarantee results. And that comes through what we just mentioned, like the beta testing. Go out there, test it with real human beings because that's the kind of feedback, that is key. And then once your clients are having results, it like we got to move the finish line a little bit. Yay, we got them results, but one of the keys is sharing those results with your existing audience of clients, but also outside because results of people that are inside your community. And more importantly, if you can even paint the full picture in a case study, then what I see in my brain is like, oh, I'm just like her. Like what was possible for her is also possible for me. And so when we're able to position and repurpose results, even inside our communities via a newsletter, or maybe you repost them in other places, social media, you have them on your podcast, what it does is it builds that know, like, and trust. And thinking to Amazon, for an example, what do we do when we shop on Amazon? Where's the first place that you go if you're going to buy something off Amazon?
Reviews, check out the stars. What are people saying?
Yeah. And so we would be remiss to think, that it's any different for us, especially in the, saturated market and coaching world now is what is going to set us apart is social proof that we actually get the results that we say we do. They're not, I've never maybe once actually had one person ask like, what are your certifications? Where did you go to school? Most people are like, well, do you have examples of like people that have been in your programs? Can you speak to them? Or they come to me because they heard an episode of the podcast where I shared results and they heard somebody's story and they were like, she motivated me. I heard her. I want what she has.
Yes, yes. Okay, so and as you're talking, Amanda, for sure, something that I I know that I have not done as great of a job with my testimonials and results as I could. And it's actually something I've been working quite a bit on, but I would love for you to share with my audience. What are some of the ways that like missed opportunities that you see with coaches and not capturing those results? Or just any tips that you might give them.
Yeah. I think that a lot of coaches, especially when you're starting out, you're so just worried about the client delivery and the client having an amazing experience. Again, the finish line is like the client ending in that container. And I think the missed opportunity is nurturing that relationship post container. And that does look like asking for a testimonial at the end. But something I love to do and encourage are mid track or mid container when they're like in the thick of it
Mhm.
and they are gaining so much momentum. I really encourage you to just reach out. So if that's 6 weeks and at week 3 and week 6, those are your markers. Either you can manually send that, that's easy. Set an automated Google Calendar reminder, or if you have some sort of CRM or system that can send you reminders, is you could direct just a couple questions. How's it going? What's your biggest win so far? And just getting that feedback. Not only are you going to capture testimonials, you're also going to be better at coaching them because you're going to see
Mhm.
what's really resonating. But I do see a lot of people just the container ends and they're like, yay, great. And so we teach our clients basically a 3-step offboarding process that they can grab and utilize and repurpose to make sure they're capturing that testimonial and it doesn't feel like icky or forced or anything around that. And so I think those are probably the missed opportunities. And the one thing I want to add though, I think our people are starting to sniff through and not be impressed by pretty Canva templates around
Mhm.
what I call formal testimonials. I am
Mhm.
a fan of informal testimonials, which is screen grabs when clients post major wins in your communities or when they send you DMs or a Voxer, where with their permission, of course, or just authentic video testimonials of them actually saying the thing, because anybody can make up something they put in Canva. And so we have a system where anytime there's testimonials shared, my team's grabbing it, organizing it, putting it in our PM software, because I think those are what really add credibility to what you do.
Yeah. And as you were talking, I was thinking about, I know you hear this, I'm sure also, where coaches feel a little timid to ask for testimonials. There's this discomfort there. And I think that, one thing for any of you that are feeling that way, definitely take a look at that, right? And realize, first of all, knowing the value in capturing those results, not only for the growth of your business, but even in service to your clients. Um, but also what I love about what Amanda said is how you have that process. It's like already set and planned. So I think that's a good idea, right? All of you as you're
Yeah.
listening, just have it in the plan already. First of all, do whatever you need to do, your work to get comfortable with asking for the testimonials, and then have it in the plan. So it's just not anything you think about. It's just automatic that it happens.
Yeah, and I would channel like when you're writing whatever content that is to send, I think anchor yourself in the emotion of gratitude or love for your client. And that's what makes it really easy for me to ask. I'm like, I just loved working with you. Like you brought me so much joy. And I literally say, I want more of you in my life. And I know the best way to do that is for you to speak to the results so that it attracts more people that are like you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's commending them. And that's saying, like, hey, you're awesome. Like, I adore you. And that just creates a really great bridge to an ongoing conversation. So it doesn't feel like dead end, we ended, because there's this like
Mm-hmm.
awkwardness, right? That also
Mm-hmm.
happens sometimes. And that's usually really well received.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and it's true, right? Because it's like we want to attract those same kind of people, the people that make our space unique and the people that really should be there, that
Yeah,
energetic match for it.
totally.
Um, okay, so earlier, I know as we were talking, you said something like, "Well, I won't go into my story now," but then we just kept going. And I love everything you're sharing, and I know all of you have gotten so much out of this already. And tell us more about you. Tell us a little bit about your story of how you got here.
Yeah. I took my first coaching job at 15. I coached 5 and 6-year-old basketball.
Mm,
And
mhm,
for me now, in hindsight, it was the domino that basically impacted the rest of my life. I had so much joy out of watching these little tiny guys learn a skill and inspiring them and watching this transformation. It was also when I realized that my brain just thinks in framework and curriculum building. And my first
mm,
framework that I ever built was the cookie jar method, and it was a way I could teach these little guys how to properly shoot a basketball. And so from there, my life has been about coaching and so many platforms, from CrossFit to other group fitness, to then I went to grad school, became a high school teacher. So I feel like that in so many ways is coaching my own high school, students. I taught educators and coach educators. And then I had my kids and
mhm,
your priorities shift. And my husband was on the SWAT team, and we were kind of two ships passing in the night, and we kind of looked at each other like this isn't going to work. And I just trusted at that moment that all the skill that I'd built up to that moment was going to be enough to do something different. And so I pivoted, left without a game plan, to be quite frank. Wouldn't recommend that, like I said earlier.
mhm.
Um, but I did have, him as a support. And so I stepped into coaching, and I actually made my first 7 figures in the health and nutrition space. It was what I knew, I was good at it, but truthfully, it wasn't my passion. And kind of to your point is, I realized that I'd learned so much in the process. And what I was really good at was helping coaches build out their unique proprietary methodology and also growing a profitable coaching business. Seen so much out there that was just mumbo jumbo and
Mhm,
in a saturated market, and this word coach being so watered down that I was like, I can either be part of the problem and complain about it, or I
mhm.
can be part of the solution. And so that's when I kind of realized, like, I think that all of this has led up to this moment. And so here I am
Mhm.
now doing the work I love.
I love it. It's so amazing. And I love what you said is, it's sometimes I don't too often because I really surround myself with incredible coaches like you and people who have a heart for this work. But every once in a while, I get a glimpse into some of what's happening in the coaching industry, or who is calling themselves a coach, right? In the messaging. And I cringe just a little bit. And yet, I really do think it is a powerful place to be in, to live in, to say, let's raise the bar in the coaching industry. Let's be stellar coaches, because I know this and you know this too. Coaching really does have the power to impact people's lives now and long term, and every aspect of their lives. And it really does matter. And so, yes, maybe it's watered down. Maybe there's all kinds of stuff going on out there, but who cares? We are coaches who help change lives.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's being a part of the solution, and also, raising the bar doesn't mean more certification. Raising the bar means, for me, building a framework and a methodology and guaranteeing your process and not winging it. It means showing up with
Mhm.
authority. It means so many things that I think are often overlooked. And like you said, you know, I'm living, breathing proof in the thousands of clients we've all served here that coaching is one of the most impactful means of transformation. And I'll stand behind that every day.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. Okay, well, this has been such a great conversation. And I hope that all of you are thinking about the ways that you can capture more of the results that you are seeing your clients create, and don't minimize them or dismiss them, right? Your clients already do that for themselves, I guarantee. Be the one to highlight them, and make sure to, take in these tips and ideas and use them to really leverage the growth of your business. And Amanda, anything else that you would love to share with my audience before you go? And then, of course, I want you to tell them where they can find you also, but any parting words of wisdom?
Yeah, I mean, a mentor gave me this, and I feel like every time I'm on a show, I like to give. it to somebody else is just do one thing a day to move the needle. And sometimes that's sending an email, and sometimes it's like today for me, I'm recording 12 podcasts and I'm taking, massive action. But when you stick to that, that's compound interest and it grows and builds, and it's for you. No, we're not unicorns. It's for you as well. So yeah, that would be my simple advice.
I love it. I love it. Perfect. Okay,
And
where can everyone find you?
yeah, so I mostly hang out on Instagram at A Walk My Way is my handle. Host a podcast as well called The Best Damn Coach, which Molly is a guest on as well. And if you're somebody that's really curious about like how to really engage on coaching sessions and then to also really build in that offboarding process that we talked about so you can increase retention, you can head on over to a training I have, which is at amanda-walker.com/blueprint and snag those up too. And it gives you kind of a 3-step formula to how to offboard clients so you can capture that testimonial.
Amazing. Perfect. And by the way, everyone, this will definitely be in the show notes. So thank you so much, Amanda, for being here.
I'm honored. It was so great to be with you.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. I'll talk with you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Masterful Coach podcast. Are you ready to build your amazing business with Molly as your coach? Check out www.mollyclaire.com to find out about Masterful Coach Foundations and the 10K Accelerator Method. It's the ultimate support for you as a coach building your ideal life and business.